Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a balanced druid PvP guide for the new balanced druid changes this patch. I have found two builds that I've really liked, and you guys have wanted me to make a balanced druid guide when the changes came out, so let's go ahead and get this started. I've been really enjoying these builds in battleground blitz and regular battlegrounds, as well as some of the epic battlegrounds and brawls as well. So let's go ahead and get this started. So this is going to be the first build, which is kind of built around, I feel like, more around AoE, and it involves Keeper of the Grove, the hero talent tree. So you're going to want Frenzied Regeneration for the extra healing. Unfortunately, Frenzied Regen is rather low, I feel like, in PvP at the moment. It doesn't really heal as much, but extra healing is nice, especially since Boomkin survivability is pretty garbage at the moment. I think Boomkin survivability is probably one of the weakest in the game at the moment, at least in my eyes it is. Bark Skin for the extra cooldown or duration, whatever on it, for an extra 4 seconds for more survivability. These two are optional. If there's nothing to remove curses or poisons, you can switch this out for later down the line. Stampeding Roar and Heart of the Wild. Heart of the Wild is just extra ways to keep you alive. So if you don't want to run or remove Corruption or Rejuve, you can switch these out for Heart of the Wild and improved Stampeding Roar down the tree. Obviously, you're going to want Starfire and Star Surge, and Sunfire and improved Sunfire since we're playing Boomkin. Nurturing Instinct for more damage. Astro Influence, so you can have more range on your abilities. Starlight Conduit to increase your damage. Renewal, because like I said before, you want more self-healing because Boomkin survivability is not that great, and Renewal is probably one of the highest self-healing you'll have to save yourself at the moment. Rising Light to increase your damage. Typhoon to knock people off cliffs or interrupt them. Lure of the Grove to increase your dot damage, which you're going to be doing a lot of dots, so this will help out a lot. I don't use Iron for a whole lot, but it can definitely help you, but you're going to be wanting stuff down here. You're going to want more Frenzied Regen Frenzied Regen. And Barks can also increase the healing received, so when healers can will be able to help you out more when you're using Barkskin. Thick Hide, because you're going to want more reduced damage taken. This will help out quite a bit. This one's strictly up to you. You can run either Vortex or Mass Entanglement. I prefer Mass Entanglement because you can do a Root Beam on, for example, I'll put this guy on set focus, right? And then say I am targeting this training dummy here. So I have the training dummy on set focus and I'm targeting this other training dummy. I pop my set focus macro and it root beams this guy while I can still continue to target this guy and focus him. So that's the reason why I like Mass Entanglement a lot better. Cyclone is one of the most powerful CCs in the game. Similar to the root beam thing, I can continue targeting this guy and have a set focus macro for Cyclone and CC him that way while I can continue beating on the main target here. And also, Cyclone, like I said, is just one of the most powerful CCs in the game. They can't get healed in it. They can't do any spells, you know, anything like that. And also, Cyclone and Battleground Blitz, in particular, can get you enough time to ninja a base as well. So it is very, very useful. Matted Fur for extra absorb for Barkskin. Instincts of the Claws doesn't particularly help, but you want to get some of these stuff down here. Like Oat Skin reduces like damage taken by additional 10% for Barkskin. These two you can kind of switch out whichever you prefer. They're both good in certain situations. I run Mighty Bash for the extra stun. Well-Horned Instincts, so you get a free Frenzied Regen when you are low on health, which can help out. And then last but not least, for the other ones, I run Ursic Spirits, so when you go in bear form you have extra stamina. Stampeding Roar for an extra getaway. And then Teachings for extra stats. whenever you're in a different form. No form is haste, cat form is crits, bear form versatility, Doomkin form is mastery. And then, like I said, if you want to switch out remove corruption and rejuve, you can go Heart of the Wild down here. Heart of the Wild is very, very strong, but unfortunately it's a long cooldown, and yeah, just keep that in mind. It's up to you. That I would just run this if you don't care about having remove corruption all that much. But corruption is very nice against affliction locks, which there is a lot of. But other than that, obviously, there's not really much use to run it, and rejuve is not really good enough to run it if you don't need remove corruption. So I would just go run Heart of the Wild. And that's it for the left side of the talent tree. Now let's go over the right side of the talent tree next, which got changes this patch. Since we're running Keeper of the Grove, we are running Force of Nature with this build, by the way, since we kind of have to. So I'm running Shooting Stars, which falls down falling stars whenever you have dots on people, and since you're going to be dotting a lot, since this is more so kind of like AoE build anyways, you're going to be wanting to dot more than I feel like Star Surge with this build, or at least it feels that way. Solar Beam for the interrupts. Twin Moons, so that way Moonfire deals more damage as well as spreads to different targets. Force of Nature, which is you need it with this build, otherwise it's Keeper of the Grove is useless. Solace, which gives 6 seconds of Eclipse during shooting stars more often. Nature's Balance, while in combat, generates 2 Astral Power every 3 seconds. And while you're out of combat, it keeps your Astral Power to 50, which is really, really nice. So you can see I'm already at 50 Astral Power. And then I can just pop like a Star Surge or Starfall right away. Although you're gonna want to really be an Eclipse first anyways. Okay. You want Kindling, so when you're casting Starfall, it extends the duration of your dots, which will help out a lot, so it makes your dots last longer, so you don't have to constantly keep spamming them over and over. And you're going to be using Starfall a lot with this build anyways, so it will help out quite a bit. Nature's Grace is actually one of my new favorite talents this expansion. In the past, it was a tier set, and now it's just a talent. So it reduces the cast time of your Starfires of Wrath, so if you didn't have this talent, it would be basically a lot slower, but look how fast my Wraths are. I'm not running a whole lot of haste at the moment, so it's a little bit slower than compared to like somebody that would have a lot of haste, but yeah. So very, very useful, one of my more favorite talents. Astral Smolder, this is going to be one of the more helpful talents, because with this talent, it has another dot which will help you with Waning Twilight. When you have 3 dots on somebody, it increases the damage they take. So very, very useful talents. You're going to want this. Celestial Alignment, this is your burst. You're going to want to grab this. Umbral Intensity increases the damage of your Starfires or Wraths during your Eclipse. Touch the Cosmos has a chance from either making your Wrath or Starfire to make your next Star Surge or Starfall free. So basically you can cast a free Starfall or Star Surge, which is very nice, very useful. Orbital Strike is my go-to talent for the choice not here. The other one reduces the cooldown for your burst, and it gives you 2 charges, but it reduces your duration. And they already did nerf the duration recently, so it just lowers it even more. I mean, 2 charges is nice, and the lower cooldown is nice, but I just prefer the big nuke you get from this, and as well as it also applies a dot to them, so it gives you a 3rd dot for Waning Twilight, so it helps out for that as well. And plus it lowers the cooldown on Incarnation anyways, so it's only a 2-minute cooldown, which is still not that bad. I mean, better than 3 minutes, so I prefer the Orbital Strike talent for this build. Stellar Amplification increases the damage the target takes from your periodic effects, so this will help your dots a little bit more. Cosmic Repetitively makes your Moonfire dots and Sunfire dots and Stellar Flare deal damage more quickly, so that'll be pretty nice. Wrath and Starfire cause your next Wrath or Starfire to deal astral damage. And then combined with this, when you consume the talent from here that I just showed you, it makes your Moonfire, Sunfire, and Starfalls and Shooting Stars damage increased by 30% for 6 seconds, which is pretty nice. Star-Lord gives you more haste, and haste is always pretty good as Boomkin. Definitely want to grab this. Power of Gordrin will summon a wolf, which will deal damage, which is pretty nice. Next up is Starweaver or Rattle of the Stars, and I went with Rattle of the Stars, which Star Surge and Starfall deal 10% increased damage, and their cost is lowered, so you definitely want this. Alright, up next is up to you. You can run either Fury of the Loon or New Moon. I would, if you want extra kill power, New Moon is the way to go, but the unfortunate thing is if a melee sits on you, you will have a harder time getting this off, which is why I don't usually like using it as much. If you want to just sit in the back and free cast, like which obviously is not going to be able to do all the time, but then you can run New Moon. As long as you don't do like anything super crazy. It's not impossible, obviously, get off on 1v1s, that you can do it. But it takes a long time to get the cast off. It does hit hard, by the way, so it is worth trying. I do like New Moon. It's just that in a melee situation, it's a lot easier to play with Fury Balloon. So you can run either one. But I would say New Moon doesn't work as well with this build anyways. It works better with Elun's Chosen, so do keep that in mind. Now, I would go with Fury Balloon with this build, personally. But you can run New Moon with this build, but my personal recommendation with this build is Fury of Balloon. And then Radiant Moonlight increases the damage of Fury of Balloon and reduces its cooldown. And then up next is Incarnation. Incarnation is pretty much Celestial Alignment, except it lasts longer and gives you a crit as well. And then this one you can kind of switch out if you want. You can either run Elun's Guidance for when you're in Incarnation and lower the cost of Star Surge or Starfall. It's up to you. I haven't really noticed, like, I really absolutely need it for this, so I don't really run it. But you can also run Astronomic Impact, which increases the crit damage of your spells. You can also run Balance of All Things. And those are the ones I would switch it out for. But right now, I've been actually kind of liking Harmony of Havens, which increases the Arcane Eclipse or Nature damage bonus of your Eclipse. And then that's it for the right side of the talent tree. Now for Keeper of the Grove. For Keeper of the Grove, this is all about Trents, and Trents don't really hit hard themselves, but they give you pretty much what makes it good is that they summon bonuses. Like, for example, when you summon your Trents, they increase the damage of your spell, so you'll hit a lot harder. They also cast Moonfire on nearby targets every 6 seconds, which was useful. Regrowth, which reduces the damage they take, will help out on yourself. And then when you summon Trents, you'll get a Dream Burst buff. And whenever you do Wrath or Starfire, it AoEs people nearby for a small amount of AoE damage, which is pretty nice. But one of the also more useful things that helps out as well is when you enter an Eclipse, you get your haste increased by 12% for 6 seconds, which is not really like it's a whole lot, but 6 seconds is a pretty decent amount. And if you need the haste, which Boomkin's wanting haste is always pretty nice, helps out quite a bit. So I always really liked being Keeper of the Grove for the extra haste. It's very, very, very nice. So, and that's why you want to have Keeper of the Grove. Other talents will be they no longer taunts. They deal 200% increased melee damage. They still won't really hit for anything. I mean, Trents just themselves don't basically do no damage. but nobody ever kills the trend, so the health thing isn't really worth it as it is. Um, Orbital Strike applies Stellar Flare for 8 additional seconds and deals 30% increased damage. This will help out quite a bit for Orbital Strike. Force of Nature cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds. This will help you get some more burst because, like I said, Force of Nature is all about having the buffs, AoE from using Wrath or Starfire. Force of Nature increases your damage by 8%, etc., etc. And that's it for pretty much the hero talent tree. Now for honor talents, I run Thorns, Starburst, and Moonkin Aura. If there's no melee in the background or stuff like that, then you can switch out Thorns for like something like Celestial Guardian, which will help out a bit. Or you can run Tireless Pursuits if you're like running a flag or something. And or you can run Alkin Adept. This is for extra faster cycling when people are attacking you. Other than that, my other talents are Starburst, because you're going to be spamming Starfall a lot, and they'll be all over the place, and you'll get Astral Power that way, and they'll actually hurt people. Well, it's not really big damage or anything, but when they're everywhere, people will just keep constantly running into it and get knocked up in the air. And like I said, you'll get Astral Power and all that fun stuff, so it's very useful. Moonkin Aura gives you crits. You're going to always want to run this, never really switch it out. Even after it was nerfed a while back, extra crit is extra crits. And it'll help you get more bigger damage for the crits, etc. Now, that's about all there is to it. And that's it for the honor talents. And that is completely it for the build number 1. This is for the Keeper of the Grove build. Now let's go over the single target build, which is Alun's Chosen. So the left side of the talent tree is pretty much essentially the same thing. I did just go over it. I'll go over it again. Frenzied Regen for the extra healing. Bark Skin for the increased duration. Starfire, Surge, Sunfire, Improved Sunfire, etc. because you were Boomkin, and you're just always going to want to grab these. Nurturing Instinct for extra increased damage. Astral Influence for the extra yard range on your abilities. Starlight Conduit for the extra damage. Renewal because you need the extra healing. Rising Light, Falling Nights. Typhoon to knock people off cliffs or interrupt them. Lure of the Groove for the extra dot damage. Iron Fur for an extra increased armor when you're in bear form. Verdant Heart for Frenzied Regen increased healing, as well as Bark Skin increases the healing you receive. Thick Hide to reduce the damage taken. Mass Entanglement or either Ursul's Vortex, but like I said before, Mass Entanglement is very nice when you have a target on set focus and you're targeting somebody else. And you are trying to DPS kill them, and then you just want to root beam somebody. And then same for Cyclone. You can Cyclone somebody with the set focus macro. And you don't have to worry about targeting them in order to get Cyclone off. If you want to Cyclone somebody that doesn't have them with set focus, you can just Cyclone them anyways. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Stampeding Roar for a nice getaway. Like Teachings for the extra stat buff. No haste in Boomkin form. Cat form is crits, bear form versatility, and Boomkin is mastery. Battered Fur for extra absorb during Bark Skin. Instincts of the Claw doesn't really matter because we're not really using those. Oat Skin for Bark Skin reduces damage taken by additional 10%. Up to you on these ones, but I like to run Mighty Bash for the extra stun. And Wellhorn Instincts for the extra survivability when you're low on health. And then last but not least, you can either switch out Heart of the Wild and improve Stampeding Roar for remove corruption, or you could run Stampeding Roar and Heart of the Wild. And it's pretty much the same thing as the other talent tree on the left side. So now for the right side of the talent tree, pretty much more or less it's almost the exact same thing. Except there's like 2 or 3 different talent changes. So You're going to want to run Shooting Stars again. You're going to run Solar Beam. You're going to want to run Twin Moons. And then for this talent tree, we're not running Force of Nature since we're running Elun's Chosen. And you're going to want to run Warrior of Elun. And then for Solist, you're going to want to run Solist. And then you're going to want to run Nature's Balance, which will give you Astral Power while in combat. And then before you enter combat, you're going to be at 50, which, like I said before. And then obviously you're going to run Celestial Alignment for your bursts. Nature's Grace, because it'll get you into an Eclipse faster. So you can see you can get into Eclipse pretty fast, which will help out quite a bit. Umbrella Intensity, because you'll do more increased damage in your eclipses. I like Astronomic Impact since this is more about single target burst. You'll be spending like a lot of Star Surges, which you'll get a lot more increased damage on your Star Surges. Touch the Cosmos, which will give you either it'll give you a Star Surge or Starfall for free. Will help out quite a bit. Orbital Strike, which gives you more single target damage and lowers the cooldown of your incarnation by 60 seconds. Stellar Amplification, which increases the damage taken from your periodic effects. And then I forgot to mention this in the other build, but since both builds use it, there's a change this patch where you can either use Wild Mushroom, which will give you 3 charges on a 30-second cooldown, or you can use Sunseeker Mushroom, which will proc automatically under targets and give you a dot, which will give you something for Waning Twilight. I like the proc ones, and it doesn't. If a lot of people are stacked, they'll all have it, and it's very nice. It can be really random, but if you want more control over it, you can use wild mushrooms. But I prefer Sunseeker Mushroom. I've been liking this. It's probably my new favorite thing they added this batch, just having it auto proc. Very, very nice. And it procs pretty decently often as well. Cosmic Rapidity, so dots deal damage a little bit faster. Orbital Breaker, so it calls down a full moon at 60% effectiveness, hits very hard. Balance of All Things, so you'll have a lot of extra crit. This will be very nice for the single target build, so you'll crit a lot more. Incarnation, for the burst, so you'll have even more crits. Power of Gordrin, so it summons a wolf that'll attack the targets. Starfall and Star Surge increase damage and lower their cost from Rattle the Stars. And then for this build, I run New Moon because Elun's Chosen increases the damage of New Moon, so this is why I run New Moon with this build. And then New Moon and Half Moon and Full Moon deal increased damage again, and it becomes Full Moon before the reset, so you can use it twice. And that's what this talent does. Now for Elun's Chosen. This Elun's Chosen is all about the Starfire and Full Moon burst. So first talent calls down and does deal astral damage and generates astral power. Moonfire and Starfire generate 2 additional astral power. Moonfire deals 20% additional damage, so more dot damage. Bear form, Moonkin form reduce arcane damage by 6%, and all other magic damage reduces by 3%, so it's a little bit more survivability. Each non-arcane damage ability increases the damage of your next arcane damage doing ability, so it'll increase the damage of like your Star Surge when you use like Wraths or all that, or even Starfire. Enemies damaged by Full Moon or Fear of Elun take 6% increased damage from you for 6 seconds. So if you hit somebody with a Full Moon and then nuke them with like Star Surges after that, they'll hit even harder. And then this spec also gives you a slow. It's only 20%, which it won't really matter, I guess, in battlegrounds, because everybody's got a slow that's way better than 20%, I feel like, so doesn't matter as much. This increases the damage of Full Moon again by 25%, so your Full Moons will hit even harder. This one increases the duration, actually not, sorry, increases the duration, increases the arcane damage from your incarnation, so your arcane damage will hit even harder, so more hard-hitting star surges. And then this increases your arcane damage abilities again, so more damage from star surges. And then, this one, new moon and half moon also call down a minor moon. So, that's what Elun's Chosen does. Now let's go over the rotation here. Let's go over here since there's more people down, less people down here. We might have to use that. Here we go. Okay, so you're just gonna want to be dotting everything up, preferably when they're all stacked, because you can see my dots spread to the other targets. You're gonna want to get into an eclipse. Then I pop Starfall, I pop Incarnation, pop Star Surge because I don't want to overcap, New Moon, Star Surge, Half Moon, Star Surge again, and then Full Moon. And then pop Star Surges, or you can pop Starfalls, and then pop Warrior Balloon, Star Surge, or Starfire, Star Surge. I am out of my Eclipse from Incarnation, get back into Eclipse with Wraths. Reapply dots, Star Surge, Full Moon, Starfire again, Star Surge. Obviously, if you're in a battleground with lots of people and want to cleave them down instead, you can pop Starfalls instead, but this build is pretty much more reliant on single target instead. If you want to run a AoE build, I recommend the other one I showed you. But yeah, this is pretty much all about single target. So that's pretty much the single target build rotation. So I'll do it without Incarnation this time. You can just add Incarnation after the go. So get into an Eclipse. Actually, first, dot up everybody real quick. Gotta fix that freaking add-on later. So once everything's all dotted up, get into an Eclipse. Star Surge, since we're caps, pop your Half Moon or New Moon, whatever it is, then Star Surge again because we're capped, pop Full Moon, Star Surge, Warrior Balloon, Starfire, pop double Wraths because we need to get back into an Eclipse, Star Surge because we're capped on Astral Power, Starfire again because we got Warrior Balloon still up, reapply dots because they're falling down, New Moon because we got it back up, and then Star Surge, etc. So, and as you can see, we need to go back into Eclipse, cast Wrath to get back into Eclipse because it's faster than Starfires, and then pop Star Surge. We've got a New Moon back up. Use that. Star Surge again. You'll probably, like I said, get attacked a lot, so you can pop a lot of instant Starfires. But if not, pop Starfires when you're in Eclipse. You need to get back into Eclipse, cast Wrath. I like to cast Wrath to get into an Eclipse because I feel like it's faster. And Starfire does a lot more damage than Wrath does since we're using that Elun's Chosen Hero Talent trait. And as for Incarnation, you can use it after you're into an Eclipse for the big burst. So, and that's pretty much it for the Elun's Chosen rotation. Now let's go over the Keeper of the Grove rotation. Hold on, let me get this thing fully charged real quick. Shouldn't take 2 seconds. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Now let's go over the Keeper of the Grove rotation. This build is more or less the same thing, except instead of doing Star Surges, we do Starfalls this time. If you're in the 1v1, you can just switch out Starfalls with Star Surges. So, get into an Eclipse. Actually, don't need to get into Eclipse. Just pop Incarnation after you dot everybody up. And then pop your Trends, pop your Fury of the Loon, and start spamming Starfalls. And then once you have Starfall up, you can spam Star Surges as well. And then that's pretty much the rotation. Just maintain your dots on as many people as you can. And then keep Starfalling when it's not up. And then when you have Starfall up, you can pop Star Surge. And that's pretty much the rotation of the Keeper of the Grove. So, once your Trents are up and Fury of Elune are up, because they're the exact same cooldown, you use them together, and that is pretty much the rotation. So let me go over this rotation one more time. This time without Incarnation. When you can use Incarnation after you dot everything up. By the way, I kind of forgot to say that ahead of time. I wasn't really thinking when I did that, but when you're not, when you don't have Incarnation up, this is pretty much the rotation. So dot this, dot this, dot this. Everything's all dotted up. Pop a Wrath, pop Starfalls, summoning Trents, summon Fury of Elune, pop Starfalls, and then just go absolutely ham. Make sure you maintain dots on everybody as you can, as well as keep Starfalls up at all times. Gotta go back and do an Eclipse. And yeah, that's pretty much the rotation. Easy peasy. So one build pretty much spams Star Surges, and the other build spams Starfalls. Although you can use Starfall with the other build as well, but the other, like I said, the other build's more reliant on single targets, but you can use Starfalls in the background as well. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the talents. Now let's go over stats. There's two different stats you could go with. You can go haste, or you can go mastery. It's strictly up to you. There are other people that do this. Haste is obviously the preferred way to go because it'll make your dots tick faster, and you can obviously cast faster, etc. I don't have a haste set yet. I've been running a mastery set because I do play Feral as well. And mastery set has been working pretty good, even in battlegrounds for me. One is, like I said, haste will get you your stuff back up faster, and then mastery increases your damage. So for the Elune's Chosen build, mastery is absolutely bonkers. I've seen 2 to 3 million hits, although 3 million is a little bit rare. I have hit 2 millions with Full Moon. It's quite insane. It can hit very, 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 very hard. So if you want to go that route, mastery works perfectly fine. But haste is obviously really, really, really nice, and I would probably recommend getting 2 sets if possible. I would try out both stats and see what you prefer. The thing is, even if you don't have a lot of haste and run a lot of mastery like I do, the Keeper of the Grove talent tree, like I said, gives you extra haste when you enter an Eclipse. So I haven't really noticed like that much of a difference not running. Okay, I've noticed a little bit of difference, but I feel like it's not as bad even if I'm running full mastery with Keeper of the Grove, because having that extra haste when I enter an Eclipse is pretty nice. So that's just what I'm trying to say. So moral of the story, I would recommend getting 2 different sets for haste and mastery, and just finding out whatever you prefer more. One will help you out with more casts and all that fun stuff, and then the other one increases your damage, so you'll hit a lot harder. I've been hitting really high numbers with running a mastery build, so just want to point that out there. It's up to you on what you want to run. If you run mastery, I would run Elune's Chosen single target build for the huge burst, and then you can still run mastery with Keeper of the Grove. It still works perfectly well, but I feel like Keeper of the Grove would probably work better with haste over mastery, but either one works. So that's it for the stats. Now let's go over the tier sets. So for the tier sets, I run with the I'm currently running the pants at the moment. I have to switch out the enchant because like I said, I play Feral too. I've been switching out enchants, but I run the tier set pants and the chest. The chest, it gives you haste and mastery, which are the 2 stats I was telling you about earlier, which will help out quite a bit. Haste increases your casting speed, mastery increases your damage. Now, as for the pants, you don't have to run this one. I was just having it because of Feral, but mastery increases your damage. Crit doesn't really help all that much. But if you don't want that, you can run the gloves, gloves are technically, in my opinion, better for Boomkin anyways. So I would probably recommend going the gloves over the pants, but like I said, mastery helps out quite a bit. So it's up to you if you want to go that route or not. But in my opinion, the gloves are technically better. I'm currently working on another set for my Boomkin set, so I just want to point that out. So my personal recommendation probably is the chest and gloves. I'll probably get those eventually myself, but you can also run the pants. It's not a big deal. So that's it for the tier. Alright, up next is embellishments. I don't have the ones I currently want. I'm going to be getting, like I said, a second set for my Boomkin. Currently, I don't have the ones I want. I'm planning to get the double ring and make the elemental focusing lens embellishments, and that's about the only one I feel like that is really decently good for a Boomkin, in my opinion, is the elemental focusing lens. I don't think the other ones are really as good. I have the blasphemite one because I only have my feral one at the moment, and it's not bad, but it's not worth it because you'll be running a different gem, so I wouldn't recommend it. But I'm planning to get elemental focusing lens. I already use it on a bunch of different other tunes, and it's very, very nice. If I had to pick some other recommendations, you could run the crafted weapon one, which I wouldn't really recommend because I like getting the free weapon more, saving up some other gear slots. But you can run that if you want. And you can also run captured starlight, which will give you a shield. I've seen some Boomkin runs run this. I don't know if it's really worth it though, because I think it only procs like every few minutes. But I've seen some Boomkin run this. You can run that if you want. If you run the crafted weapon route, you're gonna want to run one of those as well as the withering armor band, which will double its effects. And you can also run the dusk thread lining, which it gives you increased versatility while above 80%. I don't really like these ones because I feel like you're always going to be lower health anyways than 80%, but so I don't really like this one. So my personal recommendation, like I said, is pretty much elemental focusing lens. I would recommend running this, and that's my personal recommendation. So all right, now for macros. For macros, there's really about 3 that I really use. Actually, there's 2 I really use. This one's the focus beam macro, which I showed earlier in the video. So I put this guy in set focus, and I'm targeting this guy instead of the other guy, and then I use my macro, and it automatically root beams them. So it's very, very useful for things like healers the most. And then my other one is a set focus macro for Cyclone. Same thing as the other one. I'm targeting this guy and have the other guy on set focus. I pop Cyclone. It targets the other guy I have on set focus without having to target him, instead of like having to constantly change targets all the time. So it's very, very useful for Battlegrounds. Helps out quite a bit. I highly recommend getting these 2 macros. They help out quite a lot. So I definitely recommend getting these 2. The other ones are old, and I need to get rid of those at some point. So those are my 2 macros that I use. And last but not least, let's go over enchants. Right now, I have there is cloak enchants, but I haven't really gone for it. I feel like they're just minor and don't really matter as much. I have crystalline radiance. You can get tier 3 if you want. I just go for tier 2 because it's less money. There's speed on your bracers. I don't have it on mine at the moment. I'm still working on a Boomkin weapon, but you're gonna want a Radiance Authority. I'm just going for the weaker enchants because I'm gonna replace my weapon eventually. I know you can get a free weapon, but I used it for Feral, unfortunately, so I'm almost have that. You'll want Authority of Radiance Power. It does proc pretty often, and it also gives you a primary stat, which helps out quite a bit. So, get Authority of Radiance Power. And then for leg armor, you're gonna want the Intellect enchant. So just type in thread in the auction house and you'll get it. I'll have to switch. I need to get another pant so I can put it on that without having to constantly buy it over and over. I play 2 different specs. And then Defender's March for the boots enchants. For enchants, you can go either haste or mastery. Like I said before, if you want to go hard hitting, you can grab mastery. If you want to get a lot more dot damage out, haste, easier cast, faster cast times, etc. Now for gems, you're not going to want this gem. You're going to want to get precog. Like I said, I'm currently working on a Boomkin set, so I'll be getting that myself eventually. And that way, you can, if you juke somebody, you won't be CC'd, or you can get your casts off, etc. So you're going to want to get the precog gem. And that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. It's a little bit long, but I went over everything the best that I could. Hopefully this guide helps you guys out. I went into as much detail as I possibly could. Like I said, hopefully this guide helps you guys out. And see you guys later. Peace.